multi-potentialite and this. I don't think there's any further multi-potentialite than our speaker this evening. If you're as excited as I am, put with fire emojis in the chat. Welcome with me, Mr. Sam Harvard.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for having me. All right, it's beautiful to be here. Thank you for having me. And I think I was having a little bit of chat with CTA. And by the way, I got to know that acronym a few days ago. And she was like, you don't have profile. I mean, I think this is like the second time that I'm going to be speaking for her. And then she was asking for profile. Maybe after today, I'm going to try and put something together so that I will look serious like other people, other speakers across the globe have profile. I used to have one, by the way. And that was, I wrote it in my university days. And it was so long that one day I read it and I could not pick one thing that I was saying about me, but there were a lot of words. They were just defining beautiful things, but really I wasn't saying anything serious. Until one day, a particular gentleman wrote his Facebook profile and copied exactly what I wrote. He just removed my name and put his name there. And I was laughing. Anyway, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much for this opportunity to reach out, this opportunity to be a blessing to people. And I'm saying hello to everyone who's watching on YouTube. Hello to all of you. Hope you're all doing great. And all right, I have a very interesting assignment in front of me because I asked really, what am I speaking on? Sometimes they give a speaker a topic to speak on, and the speaker is constrained to that topic to deliver based on uh, the topic that is given. But it's always a very difficult assignment when you are not given a topic and then you are just let loose. What happens at the end of the day is what you have eaten over the years, your life experiences, your personal journey, all right, now begins to come out. And it's actually a very beautiful experience from what I've seen in the past years. Anytime I'm having to speak without necessarily preparing a specific topic. So, like I'm going to say today, what you would hear from me, this is the first time this is coming out. What you would hear from me are things that I probably have not shared before anywhere. What you would hear from me, I don't even know it yet. So, what you're going to hear from me is going to be straight from heaven. I believe that God brought you here or allow you to watch this training and session right now because there is a word that is going to come out of my mouth that is specially prepared for you. So I want you to get ready for a prophetic moment. And when I mean prophetic moment, I mean a moment of words that are going to speak directly to your situation, a moment of words that are going to give you exact actionable step that you really, really need. You are facing different scenarios and situations right now. You are different phases of your life. Some of you are young, so young you are below 20. Some of you are in your 20s. Some of you are over 20s. Some of you are probably in your 50s or 60s, whatever level you are. This is the type of speech. This is a type of masterclass, a type of presentation where a direct word from heaven comes to eat you. So please prepare to get a word. All right, it's very important that I lay this foundation so that I don't just keep talking to you and maybe excite you, or as the case may be. So I want to do shout out to Temi Ajibewa. I call her my girlfriend. She's my certified girlfriend. I
Woo,
will,
woo, 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 woo,
I will have
woo.
before. I heard Dr. Steven say that if you Google his wife, it is Temi that is going to. I mean, Temi just have plenty
Yes.
in different. You know? So,
When I Google your girlfriend, I will show up too, have you?
imagine. So it's possible that could happen. All right. Dr. Stephen will always say, I don't know what's between you and that Temi. We had a meeting a few days ago, and he still brought the same thing out For 3 years, he's been saying that. I don't know what's between both of you. You guys' friendship is just this and that. I say it's made in heaven. You cannot come between it. So thank you very much for this opportunity. And I celebrate you for heeding the call and doing this, because this really is what's going to transform a lot of lives. Everything I do today was because I was also given a chance by someone like you several years ago, who allowed us have access to some set of words that were spoken into our lives and brought out the potentials we never knew were there. All right, they gave us mirror, things to look at, things to hope for, things to desire. I was telling, I had a meeting, interestingly, this life has changed. I had a meeting in 2 countries today, and I did not leave Dubai. All right, I'm still in Dubai, and I was in 2 countries. I was in Cameroon and I was in Ghana. So I had a mob of people, business leaders all across the countries gathered together, and they hosted me in 2 countries as separate meetings. And I remember sharing some of my stories with them. So most times we are able to become everything because somebody spoke something to us. I heard a speaker said years ago that he made 2 million in 45 minutes. Yeah, he spoke for 45 minutes and they paid him 2 million naira. This was naira because I was living in Nigeria at the time. And all of our heads were scattered like, oh my God, 2 million in 45 minutes. Oh my God, this is so great. And I was seated there saying, wow, wow, one day I'm going to get there. Ladies and gentlemen, a few weeks ago, I was making a joke in a class. I don't know if Temi knew this. I was making a joke in a class, and then I was trying to give them an example of what it means to make an offer. And then I made an offer. And it took me 5 minutes to speak about this. And in 5 minutes, 1 million naira has been paid to my account. I saw the alert, the series of alerts, and I was like, I was joking. The product does not exist. I was just making it up. It doesn't exist. People paid in 5 minutes 1 million naira for what does not even exist. So I had to tell them, okay, it's like I will have to go and create the product eventually. So now I'm not making 2 million in 45 minutes. I'm making 1 million in 5 minutes, even with a product that does not exist. I moved on about 4 years after I heard that word to make my own 4.5 million in 1 hour. So I heard somebody said they made 2 million in 45 minutes. It inspired me. I worked it out. And 4 years after, I made 4.5 million in 1 hour. This type of platform is where you dream. This type of platform is what shows you the potentials in you, is what shows you what is possible for you. You hear someone's story, you're inspired. You have a new approach to your life. You have a new fire in your bone. Different things now drive you. You have lost hope before, thinking what good could come out of where I'm from. But all of a sudden, something new happened to you, and this thing begin to guide how you live your life. These things begin to guide the way you respond to life. And before you know it, you start to produce after its kind. Let me shock you. There was a gentleman who was an apprentice. So he went to work with a particular business magnate. This man had several businesses in shipping, but his major business was really in agriculture and livestock. He was one of the richest men in the region, in the continent at that time. He was so wealthy. Now, this young man who was going to do apprenticeship under this man, a very brilliant young man. And when he got to this guy said, okay, you are like a family to me. I'm your uncle, actually by birth. Your mother and myself are brothers and sisters. So I'm your uncle. So I'm going to treat you well. So you will serve me for 7 years. And in these 7 years, I am going to, every profit we make, every expansion we make in the business, I am going to split the shares into two. And you are going to own 50% of the business after 7 years. So work with me, help me grow this business. If this business was doing $1 billion before, and in 7 years we are now doing 2 billion, you are going to own, because this is an increase of 1 billion, you will own 500 million worth of shares in the company. The guy was happy. He was so excited. So he put in his best. He did very well. He worked so hard. And the business did not move double. The business did not move from 1 billion to 2 billion. The business moved from 1 billion to 10 billion. So when the uncle now saw that, hey, this is an increase of 9 billion. You want to own 4.5 billion? Where did you come from? What did you know? You are too young. So he thought about what can I do, to break this guy down and all of that. And the guy now said, you know what? We are not going to split the business anymore. I'm changing the game. I want you to serve me for 7 more years. He said, because these 7 years that you have served me, my business has expanded and developed and blew up. And I cannot just give you, the half and whatever and let you go. Said, please serve me for extra 7 years. You see, these 7 years, we will expand to other countries. And as we expand, you will now own half of every expansion we have into other country. So the guy had no choice. He decided to still obey his uncle and decided to serve for extra 7 years. Remember, he's getting old. As a matter of fact, he got married in the process. And this guy continued to serve. This is uncle. And he was serving the uncle. First year, the uncle did not do any expansion. He was just expanding within the country. Second year, the uncle did not do any expansion. So because they were doing livestock, the uncle now said, you know what? All this specific kind of animal that have this color are going to be yours. So we're not doing 50-50 anymore. Every animal that has this color belongs to you. So you own 100% of those animals. And that is how your payment is going to be. Some of you who go to Sunday school already know the story I'm talking about. All right. So this guy now thought about it. The color that my uncle said, we don't have that color in stock. How are the animals going to produce this color of cattle if this color were not part of the animals that were mating? So the guy thought about an idea and he decided to do something. Decided to cut different cloth designs. And when he got these cloth designs, he put them in front and redesigned the places where all these animals were having sex, where they were mating. So every time the animals are mating, they are seeing the design that this guy just made in front of them. As they were mating, they were seeing the design. As they were seeing the design, they were mating. At the end of the day, when all these animals conceived and started giving birth, guess what? They all gave birth to the color that they were seeing. They all gave back to the pattern that the uncle had said was going to be his own. At the end of the 7th year, the guy became so wealthy, he was too rich that the uncle had to let him go. This story is in Genesis, a story of Jacob and Laban. Ladies and gentlemen, you produce after what you see. It is what you are seeing every day that you conceive and you give birth to. See, your outcome in the next 5 years, your outcome in the next 10 years is not going to be some kind of magical thing that are going to happen. It is going to be according to the things that you have seen. If you have not seen it, it cannot happen. Yesterday, I went to get a new phone. I think I mentioned to Timmy. And when I got there, they now showed me the latest Z Fold, Galaxy Fold. So I was like, this Fold phone, no, I have thought about it. So immediately I was now contemplating, should I get what I wanted to come and get? Or should I get this Z Fold that is now, like a classic thing, but I've never used it before. But I noticed that for the last few weeks, during the pre-order, the moment they announced the S22 Ultra, it has registered in my mind. I've watched several YouTube videos to see what the phone looked like and all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, I ended up buying the S22 Ultra, which was the one that my mind had been conceiving, I've been looking at over and over and over. It didn't matter what that guy said about the phone. As a matter of fact, there was another white guy that came and said, I don't know why you guys are buying 22 Ultra. I said, Z Fold is the best phone. You can never use any phone. I mean, there were so many things trying to get me in the direction of the Fold, but I said, no, this is what I've always seen, and that was what I produced. So, ladies and gentlemen, one of the benefits of this event is the fact that you'll be able to see through the lens of the people that are doing some things that you have not started doing yet. You're going to be able to see through the lenses of people that are doing some things that you don't even know you could do. And through this mentorship program, you will be able to generate the type of results you want to see. I don't have a business being here. It is not people like me that are supposed to be here, and I'm going to share that with you today because that's what God laid in my heart to share just about 5 minutes before this event started. The things you are going to hear, I want you to do me a favor. Share this with everybody you care about, old and young and teenagers, young adult, everyone, put this on your status right now. There are few things that I'm going to be sharing that is just going to be what they need, all right, to move to their next level. I have no business being here because it's not people like me that are supposed to be in this type of place. And I'm going to share that with you. But somehow I am here talking to you because I heard somebody. I am here talking to you because I also listened to someone. And the things they said to me made me believe that no, I'm bigger than where I am. Yes, this might be my current state. This might be the current state of my family, of the background, of the places where I'm coming from. But I am bigger than this. I'm meant to be bigger than this. I am meant for something bigger, larger, and greater. And that is exactly why I am here today. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be speaking. I had to get a title for what I want to talk about today. I wanted to call it Do Extra. Do extra. Do extra. I want you to type it for me in the chat box. Do extra. Do extra. Do extra. Do extra. Yesterday, I popped in on the session that Pastor Dami was having, and then I listened to a bit of Dr. Stephen before I began my meeting, so I couldn't really stay to the end. And I heard a few things that was being talked about, and one of the things was, I think CTA used to bedwet. I think she confirmed, and Pastor Dami also used to bedwet, and then I now remember that me too. I used to wet the bed as well. So that's the first thing that I want to say. So it's a confession thing. So in case you are young and you used to, it's very important for you to know that we are plenty. There is none of this temptation that catches you that is not common to all. So it is all of us who are in it together and all of that. All right. So I am going to be explaining to you what I mean by do extra and why this simple phrase, all right, that I just mentioned is going to be the difference between the vision that you currently have for yourself, which is 10% of what you should have as a vision. It's going to be the difference between what you could do and 10 times of what you have been thinking you could do. All right? So everything you have ever conceived in your mind for yourself are possible. All right? As a matter of fact, you could do more. As a matter of fact, you could become more. All right? So this phrase, by the time I'm done explaining it as it is laid in my heart, is going to show you exactly why you could do far more than you are currently doing, why you are meant to do a lot more than you are currently able to do right now. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into this. Okay, so today I'm going to be sharing some things I'm sure I've never really shared before. Some 2 years ago in 2020, I hosted a camera crew in Lagos, and for 3 days we were shooting. And in those 3 days, one of the things that I did was to tell my life story in a documentary format. And I think the recording took over 30 minutes. Over 30 minutes at the time they did all the cutting and everything. And we have not released it yet. And it contains some stories that probably I've not shared, even with my inner circle people and my students and all of them. Most likely, they have not heard some of these things before. But the most important thing about the story that I'm going to share is to let you understand the concept of do extra and attach it or apply it to your own life right now for you to be able to understand that everything you have ever thought about can become better. You can do more, can do better than you are currently thinking about. So, this is what I mean. I was born to a very interesting family. My dad was a military man. He had retired about 2 years before I was born. And he served in a country where they don't honor pension. They don't honor civil servants. So they were owing them pension. So my dad didn't have any business. The only other thing he knows how to do was farming. And he was not even doing large-scale farming. He was just doing the farming that his family could eat, So just a little bit of yam here, a little bit of rice, a little bit of maize, just he wasn't selling any of these things. All the produce from his farm, for you to know how big, which is how small the farm is just for his family to eat. All right, that was all he was doing. So their salaries, their pension were paid maybe once or twice a year. Sometimes they pay them 1 month, and then it will take another 6 months. They can now pay 3 months. Sometimes in an entire year they might not pay them at all. All right, and he has ego. He told his wife, "You are not going to work, and all I married you for is to take care of my children. So you are not going to work. You cannot do any work and all that." So Momsi was supposed to be a full housewife, and he's an Edo man, so they have stupid ego. I don't know where those people get some of those ego from. So after his discharge from the military, and money was not coming, he wasn't getting any stuff. He had about 3 children, I think, that was at home at that time who were not going to school. And some of these children were already crossing the age 12, 13, 14. They were already looking like adults. And my mom was like, "What is this that is about to happen?" I stopped school at primary 4 because all the teachers wanted to marry me. That's the word she used. So she stopped going to school at primary 4. And now my children are growing and they are not going to school because one man says I shouldn't work. But my dad had a beautiful plan to become wealthy. He had an amazing plan. The plan was so great, it was to receive the Guinness Book of Record. But that plan was only great in his head. It's a stupid plan. It's the most stupid plan ever. And my dad's plan was that he will keep on playing pool. And one day he will win lottery in the pool and all his children will go to school. I mean, how interesting can a man be and say that? You see, you will go to any school you want. This game that they just gave me, I'm going to put this money in it. And when this game win, you will go to school. That was what my dad said. Year 1, game did not win. Year 2, they played this game every week. Arsenal versus Man U. Some of you probably have parents who play pool back then. I started knowing about Arsenal and Chelsea and all of that before I even know they were a football club. I used to think they were probably clothing name and. Because every time soldiers come to our house, all they are talking is Aston Villa will go away and meet with Sheffield United, and oh my goodness. So that's what his plan was. But one day my mom said enough is enough, I got to do something. My children had to go to school. So she didn't have any money. This man was not going to give her money, but she noticed that she has a neighbor who was going to the market to buy things and resell in the night. So she spoke with that woman. "Please, can you take me to some of your suppliers? Maybe they could also give me some things to sell, and when I sell, I will come and give them money." Said, "So what kind of things are you thinking of selling?" My mom said, "There's no better cook than me in the world. I believe I'm the best cook in the world. I can cook heaven and earth." And truly, 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 that woman is the best. Oh my goodness. And if you have ever eaten my food before, you will know, even me, that I'm the worst product of this woman. My cooking is top notch. I'm serious, Otemi. If I cook for you, you'll be converted. Oh my God. Don't worry, next time I come to Nigeria, I'm going to cook something. I have you, maybe you and your husband come and taste. All my students have ever seen me, they know. All right, so this woman can cook heaven and earth. She's good, seriously. I mean, I'm yet to meet that woman that cooks better than my mom. Maybe very soon I will. But right now, So back to the story. So she believes that she could cook heaven and earth. And because of that, she went to raw food supplier. So they supplied her beans, they supplied her yam, and she felt, okay, what could she be cooking? Now, this other woman was selling in front of the university campus gates. So she spoke with the woman, and just beside the woman, they got a special space for her. She got 3 big stones and made a rumeta, and then went to pluck firewood, put firewood there, got a bit of pan, some of the things that she had in the house, brought it out, and then she started frying akara. And then, of course, people were like, they are just starting to fry akara here. They will just come to have a taste. When they buy akara 5 naira, they will go and bring their friends. Say, yeah, there is something they are frying at this university gates. You must come and eat it. Before you know it, our akara start having queue. People will queue to buy akara even if there is rain. We were frying. So the business started expanding and all that. So she will sell. The next morning, she goes to pay the supplier. You know, she will sell overnight. Next morning, she goes to pay the supplier and all that. This thing became fights. Popsy travel when she pulled these runs. But by the time he came back, after all the fight and fights, the whole thing is okay, give me money now. Should you don't want me to sell? See, I've put food in the house, your children are looking healthy, they're now feeding and all of that. You should thank me. So somehow he decided to support her. Thank God he supported her for that. And that was how Momsy was able to raise money and put people like us to school. Me, I was lucky. I think just barely a year after I was born, she had started doing the business. So I was able to go to school earlier, but my older ones, oh my God, they were all homeschooled before they now start taking them to school and all of that. And the same thing happened when I finished primary school. It was time for secondary school. The school I selected did not pick me. I didn't know why. I had a very, very high grade in my common entrance. And then they told Momsy about a new school that just opened, and then they should go to the school and meet the principal. They were going to offer me admission because I have a very good grade and all that. And Dad said, even if they go to that school now, who will pay the school fees? That he doesn't have money, that should go and sit at home first. Let him collect some pension. He will play more game, and then maybe I could go to school. My mom refused to. And it was only by the action of that woman that she was able to, this same woman that used to sell things that took her to people who were selling, it was this same woman that took her to a school, very funny school, because I attended a very, very funny school. My school was like the lowest of the lowest of schools. It was in the slum of Ilorin. Ilorin as a city is slum in itself. But my school was now in the slum of the slum. All right. So they eventually gave me admission into that school. My school was so bad. We were only two people in the entire school, GSS 1 to SS 3, by my knowledge, who could make a complete sentence in English language correctly. Only two. Just imagine your own school. In my entire school at that time, were only two that I know that could make a complete sentence. The rest of them were Uludu. That was the type of school that I attended. All right. So this was how my family story started, and I was given opportunity like that, little by little, little by little. And one day, I said to myself, even though we're living in the midst of all of this, even though our beginning was this rough, we're living in a boys' quarter of a face me, I face you flat. It was a boys' quarter that we were living at that doesn't have a kitchen, doesn't have a bathroom, and all he had was just the sitting room and the room. And both, I'm looking at my sitting room right now because my sitting room is so large that I had to do a partition for a studio, and I have the sitting area and all of that. The room and parlor where I grew up were 6. All right, where I grew up is not as big as my sitting room. Right now, my current sitting room is bigger than the entire space we're living in. So we used to unfold the house in the night so that there will be space to sleep. So we'll pack all our chairs and table on top of each other on one side, then we'll now spread something on the floor. The people will now sleep like sardine on top of each other. That's how we used to sleep back then. So in the midst of that, I knew that I was meant for more. Something in me tells me that I was meant for more. Let me give you a few gists. Before I was born, my mom got some prophecies about the child she was going to have and how rich and wealthy and big the child was going to be. And one of the reasons I was named Samuel was because they believed that I was a special child from God. Maybe I am. I think I am. and you know, when my mom gave birth to me, they didn't have money to feed everybody. At this time, she had started selling akara. Before I was born, yeah. She would buy peak milk. My siblings would not, they dare not taste it. It is only for me. She will buy egg and then make it only for me. So only me was getting special treatments amongst all my siblings. When I was born, I was so big that they did not believe that I was our son. I don't know, maybe children of poor people have a way they look. I wasn't born in an hospital. I was born in a church building actually. So when they moved out to maternity, they didn't believe that that was the daughter of, the son of that woman. All right, so she gave me special treatments and all of that. I was so big and very yellow. I didn't have any hair on my head. My mom sometimes before she passed, she would look at me and say, "How did you get hair in your head? They told me you will have hair. I will argue." Say you did not have any hair. And by the time hair started coming out, it was completely brown, like pure brown hair. So they used to call me yellow back then. Some of you do not know that I used to be very light skinned. I don't know how I got dark. I don't know yet. I'll still find out someday. All right. So she knew that something was special about me, and she gave me special treatment. And maybe those things lay some seeds inside me. I don't know, but I knew that I was not supposed to be in the situation we were in. Ladies and gentlemen, the first thing you need is to detach yourself from your current situation. Your current situation, what is happening in your neighborhood, what is happening in your life, in your family, around you. Some of you are in Nigeria, there is no electricity, there is no fuel. Detach yourself from those situations. That is not you. Those things does not define you. You are not meant for those places. That experience or those experiences are temporary. All right? You are only a visiting professor. You are going to go back. That is not where you're supposed to be. So you first of all need not accept your current situation as a personal property. You must be able to detach yourself from it. You might not know how you're going to escape it. You might not know how you're going to move to the other side, but you must know that I am meant for more. This is not supposed to be where I am. That's the first thing. If you can't do that, every other thing is just going to look like movie to you. Every other thing is going to look like motivational speaking to you. If you cannot do this. So the first thing I did was I knew from a very young age that I'm meant for more. I knew from a very young age that even though we're poor, we're poorer than the poorest. As a matter of fact, we're the poorest of all the families in our streets. So all the children, when they play, and somebody need to play the role of a poor boy, it was always me. The only place I got grace was in church. I don't know, somehow every pastor of the churches we attended then just fell in love with me. And every time we are doing drama, I always act pastor. They never made me to act rich man. It's pastor. And pastors back in the days were poor people. Sure, you know, right? It's just recently that pastors are now rich. Back in the days, they are poor people. Pastors don't have cars. Pastors don't have houses. Pastors live in mission house. All right, and then, so they are the ones that church members will bring problem to and still be trying to solve the problems for the. And so pastors were not. It's these days that they're not doing private jets. Maybe if pastors were doing private jet, then I'll probably be a pastor today. I saw Pastor Dami speaking yesterday, and pastors were not fine like that. They were not too like Pastor Dami. I mean, no. That's not how pastors were. So pastors loved me, so I always asked pastors stuff and all of that. But the truth is, everything around me was telling me you are not supposed to be here. Whenever a child is organizing birthday, there is a place they put people like me. All right? People like me were not served food when other children were being served. People like me were allowed to rush the leftovers that other children had eaten. That is what we do. We rush the leftovers, put it together. The thing becomes more than what they so just pick this one, put it together, and then we start eating. And we don't have access to spoon or cutlery. Who even his hands, we eat and rush it and run away. So when they are doing the party, we'll stay at the gate of the compound. We'll be dancing. We don't wear clothes. We wear, what we call pata back then, this panties is what we wear. So we'll come like that, no shoe, no nothing. Our legs are white. Everything we're going to play around because we only have two clothes. One for Sunday, one for Christmas. One for Sunday, one for the one for Sunday, we have probably about two variations because our Sunday uniform, I said it. Our Sunday dressings were uniform, all right? So it has to be the same thing every Sunday. So most of the time it is white and black. Black trouser that started jumping because now we are growing. And we have to hope for the next Christmas when they will be able to buy us another one and then we'll manage it. These were my background. I'm sharing this so that maybe some of you have similar background. Maybe some of you are also in the same situation right now. But I want you to look past all of that. And the first thing I'm asking you to do is detach yourself from those experiences. Those experiences, even though to some of you is now past, is still at the base of your decision making. Every time big things come at you and you're supposed to take action on it, something tells you, Sheru Enon Wambeni. Is it your type they are looking for? What do you have? Are you qualified for this? You are not supposed to be here. That thing tells you and demoralizes you. It breaks you down and tells you you are not enough. It tells you you can't do this. It tells you it's not your kind that we are looking for. This particular stuff is not meant for you. So I want you to understand that this is not you. So detach yourself from it. You are what you think you are. Let me say that again. You are what you think you are. Let me say it in a different way. You are what you believe you are, which means to dream is free. To have vision is free. Whatever it is you want to become is free. To think about is free. To want to become it. And one of the most important things or choices you have made is to be on this type of program. Because on this type of program, you'll be able to see people who are probably in a worse situation, who used to be in a worse situation than you are right now, or that you have been in recent time. And right now, they are now doing amazing things across the world. They are now doing fantastic things across the world, things they never thought they could do. All right? Up until 2016, if I'm correct, 2016, I had never been to an airport, even though we're living opposite an airport. I've never entered the airport. I've only seen a plane from afar. I don't know what it looks like, except the ones I saw in movies. All right. So it's never even occurred as a thing to be proud of. I mean, to desire, because it was just far-fetched. I mean, this is bigger than what people like us are supposed to. My first day on a plane, I thought maybe somehow, they were going to call me out, or I thought everybody knew it was my first time. So, the way they were looking at me, it was like, so what are you doing on plane? Why are you not on a bus? What are you doing here? That was what I thought their minds were saying to me. I thought they knew that it was my first time. I never knew that people like us could fly. All right? So there are things that are going to happen or that are happening to you that listening to people like us, listening to this type of program will let you know that you are meant for more. All right? So the first thing you want to do is to separate yourself. So one major thing happened all through when I was young. And this is a very big critical lesson that I want everyone to listen to, especially because I know 99% of people listening to me are Africans, especially Nigerians. All right? And maybe other African countries also share the same sentiment, but I can speak for Nigerians so well. All right? From the time I was young, every time a big prophet or big pastor was coming to town for crusade, my dad and mom takes everybody in the family to the crusade ground. Let me repeat that. Every time there is a big pastor or big prophet coming to town to do a crusade, they take the entire family to the crusade ground. And the reason they do that is because we were so poor that the only way we believed that something would happen in our lives was through a miracle. So my family were number one family that I know who were crazy about seeking miracle. We attended CAC. We did CNS. We did Celestia. When Redeem came, we did Redeem. We did Church of God Mission. Just name any church, any prophet. We were there. Going from pillar to post from mountains to mountains. My mom fasted. I believe probably one of the things that made her sick at old age was because of the fasting and prayer and all that. I could fast like crazy. Those things were created in me such that there was a time in my life that I did 7 hours non-stop prayer. I did 24 hours non-stop, no, 12 hours non-stop prayer, 24 hours non-stop prayer, and then 48 hours non-stop prayer. I want you to imagine that for a moment. 48 hours, no sleep, no break, non-stop. We were praying all through. I was the leader. I gathered some, we were in school then. Non-stop prayer. And all the things we were praying for were breakthrough and success and oh my goodness. So these were the kind of family I grew up. We believe so strongly. All right. There were so many prophecies. They said it was my dad's older sister that was angry with what my dad did, that now did something to his children and his life. So he's not making money. My older ones, they see them flying abroad, but now they are not abroad, they are not even above. And now it's because of those things. And then they say it is my mother's father, who was a spiritualist, that did not do some sacrifice somewhere. And then it was because of that that something did not happen. Then later they said it was my father's first wife, or maybe his wife, maybe his baby mama. I don't know. I think they call such baby mama right now. All right, because that dude was he was one in town. I mean, my dad was dating the first Miss Nigeria. You don't want to, that guy was fine, man. The day he brought the photos, the photo of that lady went viral recently. I was like, this was my dad chick, man. I mean, it was my dad chick. This would have been my mom if they had married or something, but they were busy messing around. Anyway, so the dad was one in town. So they said it was the first wife that had the first child for him. That it was her that is angry with this or whatever and all of that. And then it was just a roller coaster of issues. They were even consulting at some point some spiritualists. I don't know how to put those people. They are not pastors. They sometimes call them prophets. You know, people like Guru Maharaji kind of class. Not Maharaji himself, but people of his kind of class. You know, because the problem kept persisting. So it was all spiritual solutions they were looking for, you know, in every wrong places on the planet. Those were the things that they were looking for. So when their child is sick, they will going to hospital, they say it's an attack, so they will take the child to church and they will stop selling at age 12, 11, at age 11, 12, I know how to fry akara. So sometimes mom sees in the CNS church with maybe my younger one, and they are doing fasting and prayer. I'll be the one to do the beans, do the yam, do the plantain, do everything, pack it to where they are selling, fry it, sell it, do everything. I was that good. I still can fry those things till date. I mean, and if you taste it, you'll be shocked. All right. So these were the things that we were doing. Now, I said this because of one thing. And the reason is because an average person in our Africa and Nigeria believe that when you are not succeeding as fast as you should, some spiritual power are against you. You believe that when you are not doing fine, you believe some village people are against you. When you are not making the type of money you are supposed to be making, you believe that some people are after you. You believe that some Chiwetalagu, sorry, I use that guy's name a lot, he is doing some things to you from the village. And because of that, you are not able to produce results. And that used to be my belief, because there was even a time that they said that, I think my dad had passed at this time, because we lost him in 2004, yes. I just gained admission to university at that time, and I remember I was able to tell him, say, sir, finally one of your child is going to become a graduate. I was very happy. He got that news before he passed. So they said that we had to go to the village, and then there's one god at the backyard of their house that they had to go and destroy and do something, and they would do some cleansing for all the children and all of that. The moment they finished saying it, I just told my mom, I said, count me out. You know the child you have. You know me, I'm not part of this thing. My older ones would be like, you are too stubborn. You are too this, you are too that. So I said, you people just count me out. All right. So most times when they are doing their fasting and prayer and whatever, most time my mom will call me, say there's a one prophet here. The prophet will come and then they will prophesy and say they saw vision and all of that. Sometimes they say they see vision about me, and the kind of vision they see makes me laugh, because I remember one very, very vividly. Please don't laugh too much. The woman said, he spoke some language and said, man of God, my son, something that where I'm working, that some people are planning against me. I say, work, okay. I don't have a job. He said that when I'm working, that my boss want to. I say, boss, okay. I'm self-employed. I don't have any. I didn't tell her. I just in my mind, I was just saying, when you are done, say you let me know. Then let me try honor my mom and listen to you. I don't have a job. The only time I did anything job was 2012, 2013, I think. 12, 13, 14. It was only those 3 years that I was on anything job. And even that job was not still like a job, because I was still running the show in the business. All right. But I was an employee under someone's company. I mean, that was like the only time I really knew that I was on anything job. But after that, I've always done my thing. So where did they get boss, co-worker that are doing me and all of that? So number one, I didn't complain somebody was doing me, because I never believed in those things. All right. And number two, all this prophecy you are giving, they will now say, that the church, their rent is due, that I should come and pay the rent, that they will be praying for me every day and all that. My mom will disturb me. I say, Mom, see, the only reason I'm sending you this money is because I know they are disturbing you there. And you are also disturbing me. So this one, I'm only doing it so that they will give you peace. Oh yeah, go and pay the rent. This is the money. So all of these things surround many people in Africa who believe that something is wrong with them. Now, let me speak to somebody. You are probably listening to me right now. Please take this as a prophetic word. You have tried everything you know. Let me repeat what I just said. You have tried everything you know, but you are still struggling. Nothing is working. You have tried everything you know. Nothing is working. When everybody says this thing, you join them to do it. Everyone else succeed, only you doesn't succeed. They say it's that or that thing. You know, sometimes you even think maybe because you start late. And there are some that you have done that you start early with them, and it didn't work for you. All right? If you are such a person, this is your deliverance here. All right? So I want you to know that what is happening to you has nothing to do with those things. The only thing you need to do is do extra. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. So I want you to stay with me. You have tried so many things. You've tried different type of businesses. You've tried different type of stuff. But it is when it's your turn that it doesn't just work. Other people, it works for them. It looks easy for them. But it's your turn, does not just work. Your case is like my case when I wrote JAMB. I went to almost bet with my friends that I'm going to be one of the top 3 in JAMB in Nigeria, because I was so sure that I knew all the questions and I answered them correctly. Only for JAMB result to come and they jammed me with 179. Me that was thinking I would have almost 390 something or whatever, almost 400 over 400. They jammed me with 179. I was like, what's happening here? And they said it's some forces from your father's house. They are the one who held back the hand of the marker of the JAMB. And even though you scored the mark, they gave you a mark that is. I was almost believing it. Timmy, I was almost believing those nonsense. When I got into the university, first session, my 100 level, we did very well and all that. I went to class. You know, I did stuff, served God, did everything and all. At the end of the day, everybody else passed in my clique. Only me, 1.80. And 2.0 is the cutoff mark. I was asked to withdraw from school. I was expelled, not expelled, withdrawn, because the VC that just came into school that time became very serious, that he published the name of all of us that was asked to withdraw in newspaper, national dailies. Publish our name, our matric number, our department, our faculty, and the fact that we were withdrawn from school. Thank God my mom finished only primary 4, so she wasn't reading newspaper. She used newspaper to sell akara. So she would have seen her son's name there. So, but thank God she wasn't reading newspaper, so she did not know. So I was wondering, why me? I mean, come on, why me? Why only me and all of that? So, ladies and gentlemen, it is possible that that is your shoe as well. Everyone else seems to be getting it right, but you seems to be struggling with this thing. That could be your position. And that used to be my story. All right. That used to be where I was until I figure out this do extra principle. And this do extra principle, I've given you about 2 things already. One, I told you to separate yourself from what is happening right now. Number 2, I'm telling you, you are not under any spiritual influence. There's no evil force that is doing you. There's no village people that is doing you. There's no village people that is affecting you or anything. All right. I succeeded first in my family because I did not believe those lies. I did not believe those lies. One of the best days of my life was the day one of my old mentors told me, Sam, you will not succeed as long as you kept carrying your family in your head. He said, detach yourself from your family, go and face your life as if you are the only one. He said, if you die today, they will cry for a few days and they will continue living. Said, you think your mom loves you and all that? You think that woman would die if you die? She will mourn for a few months. She will still eat in 24 hours or 48 hours or 3 days. She will still eat something. All right? They will all continue to live and forget you eventually if you die. So why die for them? Jesus had died for them already. So you don't have to die again. I thought my mentor was mad. I said, sir, you don't understand. He said, there's nothing you want to tell me that I don't understand. You might not understand what I'm telling you now. You are not under any obligation to do it. But I pray you do this. You will thank me later for it. I left in the presence of that man that they thought he was mad. I mean, I'm following a mad mentor. And today, in retrospect, I thank God for that singular advice because I couldn't sleep for days. I kept thinking about it and eventually decided to follow that advice. And in following that advice, I cut off from everyone in my family. It's only when they call me that I pick. I even select the calls that I pick. When they say, rent is due, we are looking for money to pay, I say, where do you want me to find it? I say, God will provide. I don't pick call again. Maybe until 3 months. They will call and call and call. So I focus on my life. I didn't say immediately things changed for me, but I believe that something will come out of what I was doing. And eventually everything changed within a short period. And I'm going to share with you how. All right, everything changed within a short period. And it was the same me that now went to get them houses, to buy them cars. You know, my siblings, I started calling, which house do you want to stay? This one say want to go abroad, how much? This one say want house, how much? This one say want car, how much? All I want to know is how much. I was just tearing paper for them till tomorrow. All right, till tomorrow. Our last one got married last year, and then my older sister made a statement that my sister is telling everybody that my brother is a billionaire. So make the wedding very big. Make the wedding very big. As so you think all right. So it's that crazy. I looked into when I came to Nigeria last year for the wedding, between when I came and when I left, I checked what I spent. Amy, if I tell you, hey, I was shocked what I spent within those. I think I spent 2 months plus in Nigeria. What I spent was the type of money that we never thought we could. I'm talking tens of millions, not 10 million. I said tens of millions. Let me just put it there. That was what I spent on wedding preparation and stuff and all of that when I visited Nigeria last year. All of this happened because one person decided to say, even though our family have these issues, even though this is our reality, this is not my own reality. I am different. I am made for more. I can be bigger than this. I can do extra, and I'm going to go after them. I'm going to do everything possible. It starts from the mind. When you accept that in the mind, everything else you need to do will start to find their way to you. All right? I didn't just start out and blow immediately. I failed at so many things. And that will lead me to the second principle. You must never give up. Even if you kept on failing, you must learn how to embrace your failures. You must learn how to fall in love with your failures. You must learn how to cannibalize your failure. You must feed on your failures. You must let your failures be the nutrients that grows you. All right? You cannot succeed if you're afraid of failing. I'm not afraid of failing. I'm not afraid to come and say, so we tried this thing, it didn't work. So this is the next thing we want to do. I'm like that. I don't care. But I was not always like that, but I had to build. Now, everyone shares success story. You only see the shiny, shiny things. You do not know their failures. You didn't know the time. I mean, there was a time CTA called me and said, I think it's happened twice, that I ran hard, so I did everything, but I didn't make any sales. So Sam, I spent this amount of money and no sale came. Imagine, I sold only this. Say, what happened? What happened? I said, people will not know this. Oh, all people will know is, she's making money. She's this coach. Everything is pure. It's not every time. Oh. So people will share all of this, but you would never hear her say, I'm not doing this thing again. I ran ad. It did not work. People do not buy this particular product. I'm going to look for a job. I have plenty CV. Maybe I can get a job of 2 million per month in Nigeria. You will never hear her descend to that level. And why? Why? It's because she has learned how to fail positively. She has learned how to fail positively. Most people fail negatively. So when things don't work out, when things flop, sometimes your failure is even according to your decision. Because sometimes failure comes according to external decision. Things you don't have control over. But sometimes your failure comes because you were stupid and you make stupid decisions. But you learn in your stupidity not to act that way anymore. That is all life wants from you. Have you learned? Then it won't repeat itself. If you didn't learn, it will repeat itself. Please write this down. Lessons of life will continually repeat themselves until you learn. The lessons of life will continually repeat itself until you learn. If you find yourself in a loop, it's because you have not learned the lesson that life wants you to learn. You are probably focusing on the things you lost. You are not focusing on the things you learn. You know, there are two L. I'm now rhyming like Pastor Dami Abi. So you are not focusing on the things you learn. You are focusing on the things you lost. I had collected investment from people and we blew out the money. Temi was in the same shoe. One of the things that connected us together so well. Most times she talks to me, say, Sam, please encourage me. I don't even feel up to it. I feel like I failed these people. I feel like these people are not even understanding. They are saying this. See, there's this person that I really care about that was close to and I did so many things for. Now she's saying this about me. Oh, she's doing that and all of that. That is the reality of life. She didn't allow that to pull her down. In the middle of it, she kept doing the things she believed. In the middle of it, she kept pushing things. She kept doing things. When my own business failed, the investment and the hedge fund and stuff that we did, I didn't go into hiding. I kept doing video. People will come to my video and call me scam. I'll say thank you. It's because you don't understand. Some of them, if I have time, I'll go and chat that. Say, now that you have called scam, so the new business I'm trying to do, you have chased the customer away. So there will not be money now. So how am I supposed to even pay you or refund you for the deal? And I say, I'm sorry. I say, so next time I go live, go there and say, it's not a scam. It's not a scam. He said, yes, I will do it. That was how I converted all those people. So eventually the answer, it's like this guy really did not dupe us. So things went wrong. Little by little. And that was how I was able to come back up. So if I had gone away and hid myself and whatever and all that, it's not going to be the story it is today. All right. So that really is one of the things you need to learn. Learn to fail positively. Fail positively. All right. So because of time, let me get right into the crux of the message that I believe God wants me to give to you. And I'm going to share this message by sharing a story that inspired me some years ago. It's one of these made-up story kind of thing. So it was a village, and they have a culture in that village that every child needs to go through a spiritual process where the priests will ask the gods or the oracle what the destiny of that child is supposed to be. Some people still do those practices. So every child patterns their life according to what the oracle or the gods says about them. So This particular family had a twin. They named them so that we can understand it very well, Peter and Paul. All right. So Peter and Paul went to the priest just like every other child at a certain age. Let's say age 10. So each child has to come in separately. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time to share this right now. If you have not shared this, share this 20 times. Post it 20 places. Share it everywhere. People need to hear this. People need to hear this. Share it every time right now. Share, share, share. Minimize. I'm waiting for you. I'm not going to continue until you share. If you have shared, come and type shared. If you have shared, come and type shared. Share it, share it, share it. I'm not going to continue until you share. All right, share, 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 share. All right, share, share, share. Then secondly, I want you to like the video. All right? There are a number of you watching and only a few of you have liked. Like it so that the algorithm can show us to more people. I'm waiting for you. Share and like right now. I'm waiting for you. Share and like right now. Fantastic. Okay. You have shared, you have liked. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. Share it on your WhatsApp status. Share it to the WhatsApp groups you belong to. Send it as private message to some people you care about. All right. Some of you, your parents need to hear what I'm talking about. You might need to share it with them. All right. Share it everywhere. Share it everywhere. Share it everywhere. Let people know what is happening right here, right now. Okay. All right. So Peter and Paul went to meet this spiritual man, the priest of their village. And the priest of their village have them come in one after the other. So the first guy that came in was Paul. And so the man looked at Paul and was shocked at what he saw. Was like, you are our future king. You are going to be so wealthy. You are going to be so rich. You are going to have this. You're going to have that. And that is going to be your destiny. And Paul came out happy. All right. He was jumping and all of that. They asked him, what did the man see? You know, he said, I'm going to be the king and all that. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be Peter was happy too. Happy for his brother, but happy because if my brother is going to be king, I'll probably be assistant king. Because we're twin, by the way. We're born by the same parent, born the same day. So definitely I'm going to also be like a king or king's brother or deputy king or a general or some kind of noble. So he was like, okay, if he's king, I'm probably going to be the richest man in the village. You know, so the president and the richest man. He was just thinking about different things. So they pushed him, oh yeah, go inside, go and hear your own. They almost agreed that Peter shouldn't go because if Paul was going to be king, then Peter is sorted. So Peter went in. And the man was shocked as well when he saw it. I was like, you are going to be a servant all your life? You will always be poor? You never... He kept saying every opposite of what he said to Paul. And when it was the turn of Peter to come out, he was dejected, he was sad, and his brother and his parents were like, what happened? He said, you won't believe what the priest told me. He said, I'm always going to be a servant. I'm not going to be rich. I'm not going to be I'm going to be an opposite of what will happen to my brother. So they left the priest's house. And Peter was living his life in sorrow because anytime he does something and it doesn't work, he gives up. Saying, they have already said I won't make much out of life anyway. So it doesn't matter if I try this thing 10 times. It won't work. When Paul tries something, the one that they said will be king, and it didn't work, he would try it again, saying, he's me king now. He's supposed to work, and eventually it will work for him. And he was rising, his brother was going down. And so one day, Peter, now being a young adult, said to his parents, I don't think there's a future for me in this village. Permit me to go elsewhere. Maybe life might be kind to me and all that. And after a couple of persuasion, his parents allowed him to go. So with cries and all that, they hugged and he departed, went on a journey to a land of nowhere where he doesn't know. So he kept wondering, and that was all they had about him. Fast forward a couple of years down the line, Paul had become the king of their village. He had become rich. He has plenty wives. He was living his life anyhow because he knew I was going to be rich anyway. I was going to be king anyway. So he had everything. Some of you know the children of the rich. Now, let me break your hearts right now. You know the children of the rich, how indisciplined most of them are. How they are the one who join bad gang, they are the one who join cults, they are the one who do all kinds of terrible things, they are the one who do drugs, they are the one who do whatever. Some of them are those they don't know book, but 2 years, 5 years after graduation, some of them are captain of industry, some of them are doing very well in life. They have houses in banana islands of their countries. They are doing very fine. You, who is serious, always going to class, always calling good grades and all of that, you are still where you are. So you wonder how come a spoilt brat succeed while a disciplined child struggle. The configuration. Every one of us will have a priest at one point in our life. Multiple priests who speaks prophecy to us. Some of your prophecy are in the area you grew up. They said to me over and over, you are not good enough. We don't want people like you here. When they're doing birthday, we show up. They say, go, shoot. We don't want people like you here. People like you don't belong here. You don't know what it was doing to my subconscious. They were prophecies telling me that not you. Maybe these other ones, but not you. We didn't have TV. They will shut the door at us in other people's houses when they are watching movies. And we have to go and peep. Sometimes they will close the curtain on us. We can't watch what is a movie, for crying out loud. Because we didn't have TV in our house. They will block us out. They will allow other children. We cannot. So all of these things in your background that come together to form prophetic mega voice. They call it strongholds. All right? These voices are told you, you can't make it. It is not for people like you. And guess what? You also say, when you are gisting, say the rich people, those rich people, those people that have money, those people. And then your subconscious, that's the programming that runs your life, if you don't understand, kept saying, we people, those people. We people, those people. So who are the we people? The struggling ones, the hardworking ones, the serious ones, the poor ones, the struggling ones, the ones who can't. Oh my goodness. How have you limited yourself? Because of voices that they spoke to you. Because of things that life has said to you over and over and over. If only you will do extra today, you will figure out that it was a lie all along. If only you would do extra today, you figure out that you could also become more. So back to my story. After a couple of years, the other guy had become king, and because of his bad attitude and habits and what have you, he was making stupid decisions. All right. And eventually there was famine. They didn't have savings and all of that. There were so many ideas and advices they had given him that he didn't take. And eventually they ran out of food in the village. And because they ran out of food in the village, people started resorting to all kinds of crimes and all that. And eventually it got so bad that they were eating people now in his village. People were killing people and making suya out of them and eating. And when it became that bad, somebody came and said they had the news that somewhere in the south there is rain and people have food there. Maybe they can travel down south and seek for food. And eventually, because they were all hungry, he decided, okay, let's all migrate. So they migrated. And they traveled for several days until they bump into a farm. And when they saw different fruit and they pounced on it and start eating. They didn't even care who owned the farm, if it was someone who owned it or anything. They started eating and all that. And they ate so much that they all slept. So the servant of the owner of the farm came on them and arrested everyone. So they took all of them to the house and the village of the owner of the farm. And then the owner of the farm made a decree that they were going to kill all of them because they were thieves. And before they killed them, the king, this is our Paul now, shouted and said, please don't kill us, make us servants instead. We are only hungry. There was famine in our land. I'm the king, etc., and all that. And please make us your servant. We will serve you, work on your farm. Just be giving us food. Please don't kill us. That was the deal he made with them. And eventually, somebody said, okay, he accepts. And he was wondering who's talking. And it happened that the king of those empire, of the villages, a series of villages were farming village. And they are very wealthy, they have money, they sell to different places and all that. Happens to be his brother Peter that was said was not going to be anything. So the king overruled what the judge said, which was the master of the farm, and said, no, we'll take them as servants. And when they stood them up, he figured out it was his brother. And then, they saw each other, brothers like, that's how the story will go. And it's like, did it happen? How did it happen? That's how I found myself. I left the village and all of that, and I kept working hard as a farmer. And little by little, with my work ethics and the things I was doing, all these people were attracted to me and were able to do more and do more and do more. And that is how we are this big right now and all that. But now you are my servant, I'm now your king, by the way. So it's like we have swapped position. This story is a summary of many of our lives. And I want to say to you that life may not happen easy for you the way it happens for others. It may not. To some of you, it might be easy, but to some of you, it might not be that easy. But I want you to know, all right, that if only you will do more, you'll be able to get the same results that others are getting easily, sometimes even better than them. I teach salespeople who are just starting and saying, you might not be good at sales and closing, but if you can speak to more prospects than any other person, you probably close more sales than every other person. If you can speak to more, when everyone else is doing 5, do 50. When everybody is sleeping, stay awake, and not just awake, because people just think it's staying awake that cuts the deal. It is what you do while you are awake that makes the difference. It is what you do while you are awake that makes the difference. I have friends who visit me some years ago, and while they are in my house, they are sleeping. I am working. At the time that they are snoring or doing extra cool with their girlfriend, I am preparing webinar, I am preparing funnels, I'm writing copies, I'm doing one thing or another. There are a lot of you that are my students who are following me. When you are sleeping is when my own night, my own day is starting. I don't have any arranged house or whatever luxury stuff. I live on this chair, on this table. I work hard, thrice, 10 times as hard as any of my peers that I know. While others are relaxing, I am working hard. Do you know why? Because I know where I'm coming from. Because I know I have to prove all of those wrong prophecies, those wrong words, those wrong voices. I have to prove them wrong. All right? I know that no matter what, let me say this to you. This is a word for somebody. Even if truly some spiritual evil forces are after you, they can only slow you down, they can't stop you. You didn't hear me, let me repeat it. Even if some people are after you, they can only slow you down. They cannot stop you. They can only slow you down. They cannot stop you. So when they slow you down, how do you beat them? You have to do more. You have to do more than other people. You have to invest more into yourself. You have to do extra. You have to go extra mile. Sometimes you have to do it 10 times more. So my secret for doing all I have been able to do for myself so far is because I did extra. I worked extra. When others are afraid to fail, I am not afraid to fail. I face things headlong. All right. I am still doing it. I'm enjoying my life. Oh, don't think I don't know how to enjoy. I'm enjoying my life. All right. Timmy, I have not shared this with you. The last time I took a flight, I was coming back to Dubai from Nigeria. And I think for the first time, they took us through first class. So I've only been seeing first class in on the screen. I've really not passed through it physically. So I didn't even look at it. But I know that the day I decided I was going to be flying business, I was almost upgrading to first class, but the money was just too much. My brain cannot comprehend it. So
Hey.
I, let me just stay with my business class, JJ. So
Hmm.
this particular day, they moved us through first class. So they passed us through first class, then to business. So I now saw first class for the first time.
Hmm.
Then me, I sat down. Business
Hmm.
class automatically looked like economy. And I was like, God, if you catch my leg on a plane and it's not on first class,
Ah.
catch my leg on a plane and it's not on first class.
My
And
God.
that is what is going to happen. I'm making a trip very soon. I told you I'm traveling. I'm flying first class. I'm not doing business.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've checked the amount. I've seen the whatever. I
Those
can
that used to pursue you, those that used to pursue you from that birthday, they should be seeing you now. Eh?
you
I
see,
hope they still see you.
you see life. So interestingly, that is because I know how to enjoy myself. I worked on my mindset. And it's not like I have the plenty money to blow and do stuffs like that. No, not because of that. Just because I believe that I am meant for the best and I know that I have to work hard for it and I'm working hard for it. And thank God today, anything I want, I can buy. Anything. Once I want it, I can buy it. Once I desire it, I can afford it. Except I don't want it. That's the only reason I will not. Decided to go and buy the latest phone on the planet, or the most expensive phone on the planet. Okay, not the most flagship phone yesterday. Only within a 5 minute decision. I was taking a nap. I woke up. I was like, I think I need a new phone. Okay. I just went up, got whatever, went to the mall, and then picked one up, just like that. That is now where I am, but it was not always like that. I had to work my way into this. But my secret, ladies and gentlemen, is that I understood where I'm coming from. And I know that there is no level of prophecies, of doomstalk, or village people, or whatever that can hold me back. I took myself away from all of that and I focused on the things that I wanted to do. And trust me, I've not always had support of people. Let me tell you a funny story. Um, there are some times that I used to pursue the popular speakers in Nigeria. I would struggle to get their numbers, and when I got their numbers, I would send them text messages, try to call, and all that. And to their own merit or credit, it's because they are busy, so try to invite them for program, try to just package things and all of that, and nobody was coming through for me. And then I said, you know what? I'll go and do my own. I'll go and do my own. And then I went, looked for an industry that can, deploy the little skill that I have. And I went into those industry and I was deploying my skills. And everybody was liking the things I was doing. And eventually, I might not still have their kind of popularity, but there is no amount of money that they are making that I've not made. And that's the sincere truth. Uh, there was a day I was dissing some of my friends how much money I made some years, and they did not believe me. They did not believe that I could have touched that type of money in a short period of time. So you also have the ability to be anything you can be. People might not always support you. Tell me, I like what you type. People might not always support you, all right? But I want you to know that if only you can do extra, you can be anything you want to be. You can become anything you want to be. And that is the message that I believe God wants me to share with you today. I do everything I do today because I work more than other people. I work more than other people because I know where I'm coming from. I cannibalize myself. I'm my own competition. I don't relax in one place. Once I do something and it's working, I start looking for how to improve it. I start looking for how to do better. I start looking for how to expand. I fail more than I've succeeded. I have failed more than I've
Mm,
You will
mm,
not know my failure stories, ladies and gentlemen.
mm,
You might see the success stories. All of you now call me billionaire mentor and all of that. But I've
mm,
more, much more than I've succeeded. And I just want to assure you today, it doesn't matter where you are, your level, or the stuff that are happening to you, if you can do extra, you will shock your world. You can be young, you can be old, it doesn't matter your age right now. You can do better than others and you will do better than others. Please control the information and
mm,
the conversation in your head. Control the conversation in your head. This is what I do.
mm,
Practice. This will help you. I create mental videos a lot. I close my eyes and I fantasize what I would do if I have ₦1,000,000 naira. And I start writing those things down. And before you knew it, my brain, my mind accept as if I have had ₦1,000,000 naira, even when I had nothing. When I want to experience something, I go on YouTube and then I go on YouTube and I watch videos about those things. I feed my mind with the reality that I want. And I go back to work extra double, extra triple to make sure it works. Till date, it's difficult for me to even give tax to some people because trust me, almost everything that is needed in my field, I know how to do. The only thing I don't do right now is coding. And in few days ago, I was considering going to learn. I do video recording, I do video editing, I do website design, I write copy, I did voiceover, whatever. I do virtually everything that is needed. I do graphic design. I still do it for myself till date. I still do those things for myself. Things I could outsource easily. I don't. All right, it's even difficult for me to outsource some things now because I'm afraid they will not do it as well as I would do it. All right. When you know that you don't have anybody to save you, you create your own savior. You create your own salvation. All right. And that is what life has given to you. Look beyond what is happening in Nigeria. Detach yourself from the environment called Nigeria. All right. Your destiny is global. What you are given as an assignment is global. And I want you to see yourself as someone who has something to offer to people across the world. And I know you will succeed. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you so much for attending this event. And I hope I'm going to be able to see you very soon. With this viewpoint of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you that you can do
wow,
very well, no matter what your foundation is, no matter what your current situation is.
wow,
Please,
wow, wow.
God bless you.